You don't know him yet, but I'll tell you this. He's the laziest person you'll ever meet. Someone so lazy, his only joy about being reincarnated is the chance to sit and do nothing in his new life. That didn't work out so well, I might add. He was bullied in his 3rd year of junior high, and so he stopped leaving his room altogether. For 5 years, bro turned to anime and gaming to pass the time. 5 whole years! Makes me wonder where his parents were the whole time. He successfully deceived himself that it was safer indoors. Laying in his room, he binged anime after anime like a degenerate with too much time on his hands. If it sounds too familiar, don't take offense. I binge anime too. We're all in this together. Unfortunately, he loses all hope and dies indoors, proving that nowhere is safe. He binges anime until his last breath. Anyways, he gets lucky, and the goddess Kun gives him a chance at a second life. A chance to be reborn with overpowered skills to enable him to enjoy that new life. He's seen kneeling before her in some heaven-like place as she bestows his abilities upon him. Meanwhile, all he plans to do is continue his laziness. Fantasy world or not, what a waste. He's born into the royal family with an insignia on his left breast. The king's joy is short-lived as he has his magicians assess his new son's magic level with a premature smile on his face. When the level comes up as a measly 2, the king is more disappointed than Asian parents when their kids just don't have PhDs in everything. Don't ask how I know that. They name him Reinhardt, and the king and his wife, the beautiful and way too young Gislot, promised to tell the community that their child died at birth. They just couldn't bear the shame of him being a low-level anything. You see, just like Asian parents. No, I'm not projecting. You are. Gislot was the Flash princess who defeated the Demon King, and the king was, well, the king. A child of such low mana levels couldn't be welcome in a royal family. Goddess Kun worries because she gave Reinhardt much more power than the human mages could assess. A whooping level 1002 with barrier abilities. They abandon him in the forest, and baby Reinhardt is left to fend for himself that night. He remembers his barrier magic and encapsulates himself in a blue barrier cube. This enables him to float. If this was an anime, why on God's earth would a baby be floating on its own? Just as he prays against running into a wild animal, a Fenrir shows up. A big red beast she was. He tries attacking it with a small cube shield, but they patter against her hide like bubbles on the back of a toddler. Game on, he says to himself. As he uses his shields to uproot whole trees, leaving the weight on the beast, it still manages to escape. The smug look on its face turns into fear when Reinhardt carves out a rock at least 8 times the size of Fenrir and pushes it towards the animal. This caused a miracle, for the animal spoke. Can you believe it, people? It began to beg for its life. I surrender! Seemed to be the only vocabulary available to it. Reinhardt let it go and began to open up to him. With its face all sad and defeated, turns out it was just hungry, and baby Reinhardt wasn't looking too bad that night. He couldn't speak to it at first, but he manipulates his barrier magic to convert his thoughts into sounds. He introduces himself as Haruto, because somehow saying Reinhardt was a mouthful. Still don't know why he lied, but he still goes on to claim he was the Demon King reincarnated. The Fenrir is bewildered by his revolution, believing him immediately, and admits defeat yet again, surrendering to Haruto's ultimate powers. Reinhardt names the flame Fenrir Flay, and turns to run away before the animal realizes he's not the real Demon King. It doesn't work. The beast believes it was spared for the purpose of serving Lord Haruto, as it began to call him. Flay enters an involuntary pact with Reinhardt, and as he's trying to make his case, nature kicks him straight in the tiny baby. I'd rather not say. He needed to feed, and he still was a baby. Reinhardt dropped gently to the ground in hunger. A subservient Flay felt burdened and transformed into quite a big-chested woman. Because, say, miracles don't happen, and this is the second one this night alone. Flay picks up footsteps as a strange man approaches, and Reinhardt quickly establishes the telepathic link between him and Flay. He's here for the baby, but Flay refuses him, screaming enthusiastically that Reinhardt belongs to her. The man means no harm. As it turns out, he's only a relative of the king, and he came bearing a gift of breast milk in a sack. Reinhardt is immediately captivated, and asks Flay to accept it. She dilly-dallies while Reinhardt's uncle continues to make his case. He tells her how he'd lost one child before, and his conscience wouldn't let him leave the one to die in the wild. His sad tale brings the demon to tears, and they come to an agreement. Flay agrees to be his personal assistant as long as she gets to be by her master's side. Meanwhile, Reinhardt only cares about that good booby juice. They create a ruse, making it look like Reinhardt got mauled in the forest. His uncle spills some reddish substance resembling blood to really sell it. All three of them make their way out together. 9 years pass before the producers finally give us the name of his uncle. He's called Margrave Gold. And Reinhardt only goes by Haruto now. Margrave and his daughter of his own, Charlotte, and a narcissistic Haruto think she hates him. I mean, he can't see she's just shy. Get over yourself, dude. She plays with Faye as Haruto watches from a window nearby. A little creepy, but we could just call it sibling love. Yeah. His mother walks up to him quietly. She encourages him and suggests that he does something special for Charlotte, promising to do everything in her power to help both of them get along really well. This next scene got me twisted too. You see, two Harutos in the same room, one standing like a mannequin, and the other deep in soliloquy as he laid on his bed. He contemplates whether to stay or leave the family, as he finally possesses the question to the mannequin before him, as though it could answer him. Ask yourself why he would spend 9 years studying berry magic just to create a perfect copy of himself, if he wasn't a textbook narcissist. His uncle interrupts his train of thought to teach him how to make good use of a sword, and Haruto wears a grumpy look like it was his favorite sweater. Margrave notices and asks what else Haruto's been using his time for. Haruto lies again, hitting his uncle with the "that bird's studying ancient magic" line again, and the man buys it. Haruto hastily exploits that window in an attempt to escape learning swordplay, but his uncle still doesn't leave him be. He hands him a wooden sword, and they begin to face off. Haruto surrounds himself with the barrier for fear of being made a mockery of, and runs towards his uncle, striking him with unbelievable force. His uncle dodges, but the spot where Haruto's sword meets the ground is left dented. Margrave is shocked, and in turn makes his own attack. Haruto and his lady feet feather off the ground, dodging his uncle's attack. This leaves the man in awe once again. He stands analyzing Haruto's movements, but they don't match his magic levels. He brushes it off and continues to train the youngster, to at least make him look more professional. After the training, Margrave goes indoors to snitch to his wife. Yeah, you heard that right. A grown man snitching about a freaking 9-year-old. The shame. He tells her that Haruto may be a returned demon. She questions him about Haruto's physical traits, for demons are born with horns or tails, but her son has neither. He comforts her as she comforts Charlotte, who, by the way, has been feigning sleep from the very beginning. Sneaky little... I'd rather not say. She couldn't believe Haruto was a demon. No one wants to believe Haruto is a demon. Anyway, that's a wrap, my anime lovers. Catch that next episode. Is he a demon? Is he not? Find out with me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for some more juicy updates.